Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on a scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Party at your place this summer? Fix things up inside and out with July 4th deals, now at Lowe's. Get up to 45% off select major appliances and save up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, save $80 on a select Charbroil Performance Series gas grill, now $299. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Down goes Portugal. Spain is moving on. How's Salazar in there? How's the Mamba?
He quite literally stormed out of the studio. I
can only hope he was in tears.
Portugal, Ronaldo's done.
Done.
Yeah, that's his last one.
Isn't he 105 too? He's done.
104. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, let's talk some Utah Jazz basketball. Let's get to something important. A little summer league action. They have a game tonight, by the way, against the Grizzlies. Tip-off at the Huntsman Center is going to be at 7 o'clock. Our next guest does a wonderful job covering the Jazz for the Deseret News, and she joins us now. She is Sarah Todd. What's going on, Sarah? How are you?
I'm doing great. No more Ronaldo on my screen for the rest of the summer, and I get to watch Darryn Peterson. So these are thumbs up.
I hope you had a happy 4th. I know you were working on the 4th, but hopefully you salvaged a little celebration too.
Yeah, I had just enough time to get a microwave burger in and drink a cherry soda. So that was absolutely perfect. That was enough celebration for me.
Well, let's talk about the debut of Darryn Peterson, because that's what everybody is talking about. I'm curious to your thoughts, and we always have to throw in the qualifier, right? First game of Summer League, and you can never tell. But I'm curious to your reaction to his debut.
Yeah, I think the thing that I always tell people is that with Summer League, you take a grain of salt and also do your very best to not pay attention to the score. And, even if you can, don't pay attention to the box score at all, because, there's nerves that go into it. And a lot of these guys haven't played basketball competitively at all for literally months, because most, the rookies that we're looking at haven't played since March. And most of the guys that are coming back second, third year, whatever it may be, haven't played since the first couple of weeks of April probably, or before that if they were shut down at any part of the season. And so always with a grain of salt. But the things that you're really looking for in Summer League are how does it feel? And I know that sounds very woo-woo, right? But the things that are going to translate from a Summer League court to a real NBA court is the guys that stand out and they pop out. For the most part, that's going to translate. They're just the best guys on the court are going to look good in the NBA. So sometimes that takes a little bit more time to realize, right? We've seen Cody Williams look really good for a couple of years in Summer League. That hasn't totally translated, but think back to Keontae George's first year in Summer League where he had 33-3 in Vegas. And it took a couple of years for him to kind of really settle into an NBA spot. And so that's what you're looking for, is just the guys that stand out, what feels best and what looks best.
You certainly don't have to talk yourself into his shot, do you? You don't
No,
see
you don't.
his shot, and you don't have to say, well, maybe it'll get there in a couple of years. I mean, that stood out to me immediately.
Yeah, his shot has been so fluid, form, mechanics, all of it since he was in high school. It's beautiful, right? When you see guys that shoot the ball like that, it's just wonderful to watch. But also, I think the way that he gets to his shot, the fact that he's 19 years old and he doesn't really get sped up at all, he really controls the pace of the game. and he doesn't force bad shots. Like, God, there's so many things that could be worse for a 19-year-old rookie that you just got in the draft. It's wonderful to see.
I liked it that he well, let me put it this way. You've been covering Summer League and the NBA for a long time. You never know what kind of buy-in level you're going to get at Summer League. It's all over the spectrum, right? Guys that don't want to be there, that think they're above it. Then you get the try hard, trying to make the league types, and it's this weird meshing of motivation. But I thought it was a positive that he really wanted to show his stuff after all the controversy at Kansas and not going number one and the kind of off the floor knocks against him. I liked it that he was eager to come out at first opportunity and show what he could do.
Yeah, and kind of piggyback off that. One of the things that he said after the game, honestly, the thing that he said that I loved the most was that, again, like you're saying, all these questions about like his buy-in and like how much he cares and how much he wants to be on the court, kind of his competitiveness. And he comes in after that game and he's talking about the fact that Zuby Ejiofor is on the Atlanta Hawks Summer League team. And when he saw that roster, he's thinking about the fact that Zuby Ejiofor was on the St. John's team that knocked out Kansas in the NCAA tournament. And he's like, I'm not going to let this guy get another win. It's a Summer League. It's not even a Vegas Summer League game. It's a Salt Lake Summer League game. Right. So the fact that he's even thinking about that kind of stuff and like has that, he's just got a lot of dog. And I think that the Jazz roster has been missing that kind of dog.
Yeah, an edge. I totally agree. Jazz have a lot of great young players, but I don't know if they have a guy that you would say, okay, that dude has a little edge to him, a chip on his shoulder type of dude.
Yeah, I've been saying for a long time the Jazz have been lacking dog. And not only that, but like lacking a guy who wants to defend and can defend out on the perimeter at that level. I think, it was really, really nice to see the crowd at the Huntsman Center and they're, on their feet when Darryn comes out and he leads the team out onto the court for pregame warmups. And then his first possession, first touch the ball, he just makes a read and goes around like a bigger guy and drives to the basket. Huge eruption from the crowd. And then like 70 seconds later, there's a chase down block from Darryn Peterson on Kingston Flemings. And I was like, that is what you want, right? Like, that's what the Jazz have been missing, is a guy who not only has it on the offensive end, but isn't going to give up on a defensive play.
All right, Sarah, let's talk about some of the other guys. You mentioned Cody Williams in his previous summer leagues. What stood out to you about Cody in his debut this year?
Yeah, obviously the athleticism, right? Like, everyone's talking about the dunks, and that's something that Cody's been showing off for a couple of years. I think, if history is any indication, then we probably are not going to see Cody in Vegas. I don't have that on any good authority at all, but, the Jazz, for their third-year guys that they played in Summer League, they play a couple times in Salt Lake, and they haven't played in Vegas, so we'll see. But with Cody, it's like I need to see it during the regular season. I know what he looks like in Summer League. I know what he looks like against G League guys. At this point, like, I just need to see him on an NBA court be able to kind of assert that same kind of will.
And then kind of same question about Ace Bailey. What stood out to you about him?
Yeah, I'm really hoping that we still get to see Ace at some point this summer, because he left that game with back spasms. That is, both concerning and not concerning, because it's like I feel like during the summer they're going to be really, really extra cautious. If a guy, breaks a fingernail, they might hold him out from Summer League games because they don't want anything to go wrong. But also, he should probably not be having back spasms at this point after, putting in some really good work the last few weeks. So that's just kind of on the back of my mind, and hoping that all resolves itself very quickly. But I love that Ace looked really smooth and kind of like in his game. He also looks just like drastically stronger. He looks so much stronger than he did at the end of last season. And so it's exciting that kind of the other youngest guy on the team outside of Darryn has put on that kind of weight and that kind of strength in the course of just a couple of months. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing kind of what he looks like heading into the next season. I think all of the bright lights were on Darryn. I think that Cody kind of took a step up and kind of asserted himself a little bit more in the offense. And I don't think that Ace did that so much in that first game. But he looked really comfortable. He's going to be very, very, very good.
I think so too. And kind of with that in mind, though, what are fair expectations for him this year? What is reasonable to expect as far as improvement in production goes for him?
Yeah, like the easy answer is just to say better than last year, right? But I think the reasonable expectation should be that Ace Bailey has all of the tools to be like an excellent, excellent defender. And so you really want him to take a big jump on that side. And I think Ace's offensive game is kind of like we're talking about with Darryn's. Like, there's no questions about it. We know that Ace is really, really fluid. He's got a great feel for those mid-range jumpers. It's very KD-esque when you watch him. And so I don't have a lot of questions about what he's capable of on the offensive end, but like the expectation is that he really needs to jump into being one of the Jazz's premier defenders this year.
First time I've talked to you since the Walker Kessler trade. I'm curious to your thoughts on how that played out for the Jazz and the Lakers, and Walker for that matter.
Yeah, I think, everything that I think, I was hearing, everyone was hearing is that, we expected that there was going to be a resolution. And I think that was the plan. But I think that plan changes when the Lakers come to you and say, like, yeah, we're willing to just empty out the draft coffers for you. We will leverage the entirety of our 7-year future for this guy. So, like, that really changes the conversation. So the Jazz get, 2 outright unprotected first-round picks plus rights to the 2 swaps. So, like, basically you're getting rights to 4 picks. And then on top of that, I think the kind of under-talked about part of this is that the Jazz didn't have to take on any bad contracts. They didn't have to take on guys that they're going to have to waive or buy out or deal elsewhere. And they're just left with, all of this cap space and a trade exception. And so that's a really huge part, is that they're able to make this trade, get the future assets. And meanwhile, like, I know that the Lakers always like somehow find a way, right? But they, to their name right now for the next 7 years, they have no tradable first round picks. They only have a pick swap and a second round pick to their name for the next 7. Like, that's it. That's all they have. So they really leveraged a lot to make this happen. And if you can kind of make a deal and have a lot of room left to work with, and also kind of, handicap one of your Western Conference foes, I think that's incredible. And as far as how it works out for Walker and the Lakers, like, they were desperate, and Luka Doncic, only has 2 more guaranteed years on his deal before his player option. Like, you have to make him happy. You have to give him something to work with. They had to do a deal like this, and Walker Kessler now gets to catch lobs from Luka Doncic. So I kind of think it's win-win-win.
Steep price tag. It was kind of it was like a game of chicken. Which team wants to go into the season without a center? Because that was really the consequence in the short term. And I don't think Jackson Hayes is a solution. I know Nurk got his nose fixed, thank goodness, but I'm not sure if he's a solution either. What do you think the Jazz do as far as center going forward?
Yeah, I mean, none of that is going to be a solution long term, right? But I think that anybody that thinks that the Jazz going into this particular season being a legitimate title contender, like, that's not realistic. And so it doesn't have to be that the Jazz have their perfect center for the timeline for this team right now. But having Nurkic there is a great piece to have to kind of get all of these young guys on board, up to speed, setting screens for them. He's a great guy for that. I mean, he showed that he can do those things last season, that it's, he's not too old yet, right? And so that's great for this season. This Jazz team needs to be able to prove that, as constructed, that they're able to win games. We haven't even seen most of the players on this team like unlocked for a full season. And so that needs to be pushed forward. I think that the expectation is still, you make the playoffs. You definitely need to be a play-in team, like, at worst, make the playoffs. And down the road, the center position is going to need to be fortified a little bit, but that can happen over the next few years kind of as they ramp their way up through the Western Conference.
What on earth is Boston doing? It's one of the worst trades I've ever seen.
What's Boston doing? What's Washington doing? What's Sacramento doing?
Yeah, right. What are they? I can't make hide nor hair of it. I mean, you take on Paul George. You were that desperate to move off a top, I don't know, what do you put him at, Sarah? Top 10, top 12 player in the NBA? It seems crazy.
We were listen, I know that last year was a weird year with the injuries and the 65-game rule and whatnot, but Jaylen Brown had that team winning, and we were talking about him as a part of the MVP race when Jason Tatum was completely sidelined. He helped to carry that Boston Celtics team, and I can't make sense of the fact that when you have that guy on your team, then you hand him to the team that beat you. That feels like it doesn't really, the math isn't mathing for me there.
No, I couldn't agree more. As far as Sacramento, they drafted the GM made friends with Acuff's dad back in the day, so they drafted him, and they're just going to give him the team, right? I mean, they're just going to hand that to the team.
That's a great way to do things, is just if you have a friend from one day back when, start making decisions for your NBA franchise based on that. And, let's just replace Russell Westbrook with Russell Westbrook.
It's very Sacramento. It's very King.
Listen, Kang's going to Kang.
That's what they're going to do. I mean, you don't get that rep accidentally. Enjoy the game tonight, Sarah. Well, let me ask you this before I let you go. Anything you're going to have your eye on tonight? Possible storyline that we can follow as well?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I'm watching to see if Darryn can hold the turnovers down during this one. I think maybe early jitters, and I know that he was upset with himself about having 8 turnovers in that first game. It doesn't really matter. I'm still looking at the same stuff, right? Does he come out and look like he's playing with an edge? Does he come out and look like he's playing in a league of his own compared to everyone else? That's what we're going to be looking at throughout the entirety of the summer.
Well, Sarah, thank you for coming on. We love your coverage. We'll be watching for it tonight.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, Sarah. There you go, the one and only Sarah Todd. She covers the Jazz for the Deseret News, and she will be up at the Huntsman Center tonight for the Jazz matchup with the Memphis Grizzlies. And it'll be a chance to see Darryn Peterson take on Cam Boozer. What a headline headliners tonight up at the Huntsman Center. And the Salt Lake City Summer League did draw a nice batch of interesting, compelling young players, including the Jazz own Darryn Peterson. And so we'll get to see those two go head to head. I was listening to Kurt Heelan on with Coach and Scotty G earlier today, and talk about how Memphis. Kurt was kind of thinking Memphis was going to be pretty good. I don't know about that. I think Cam Boozer,
summer league good or regular season good?
Regular season good. And I think he was trying to make the point of even some of the younger teams or lesser teams are still going to be tough wins for some of these teams that are trying. I just don't know if Memphis is an example of that.
I mean, some nights the Jazz were a tough win,
Oh, man, most nights until they completely pulled the plug.
Right, so I guess
which
you never
was the
know,
point he was trying to make, honestly. Because, the Jazz were on pace to be a 30-win team basically until, the end of December when they said, all right, well, we're only going to win 5 more games for the rest of the year. We talked about it on this show. So Kurt was kind of hinting with the different rules, and maybe teams like the Jazz last year will now be a little bit more of a tough out, and he threw Memphis into that convo. I'm pretty intrigued, reboot a team around a player like Cam Boozer, who is the type of player that you can build around, in my opinion, just based on the way that he plays, and he makes other players better. So he'll get every opportunity, though. I mean, Darryn Peterson is going on to a Jazz team that, shots, playmaking. I mean, there's going to be real competition for all of that, and I don't think Cam Boozer is going to have something similar. I mean, speaking of Ace Bailey, he's if he makes the next step, and you heard Sarah talk about his offense and where his offense is right now, I mean, he's going to be pushing Darryn Peterson for minutes. He's going to be pushing Keontae George for minutes. He's going to be pushing Lauri Markkanen for minutes. And if he's motivated to make that next step, I think that's a huge storyline, because I do think those sorts of things make players better, to fight it out and earn your role on the team. I thought that was a big part of Keontae George's arc last year. If we look back, Keontae George, when he was rookie, he was handed a pretty big role. He was then moved into the starting lineup. I'm trying to remember how far into his rookie year. And, kind of had that attitude like, okay, I'm an NBA starter. I'm here. Let's do it. I've arrived. And then you recall that he was benched the next season in favor of Isaiah Collier, who moved into the starting lineup for the rest of the year. And then famously, the Jazz, kind of had to talk to Keontae at the end of the year, and he came back with a great attitude and mindset, and really earned his role with his teammates and with the coaching staff. And then all of a sudden he was off to the races last year on a team that had that role and that opportunity available to it. But I think to him. But I think he benefited from having to go out and earn it and battle it out with Collier in camp, and how to exercise his new mentality. And he's been just such a different and terrific player ever since, and that's not going to stop for Keontae either. He needs to fight for his role, and he's quite literally going to be fighting for a contract extension, which he's in the same boat that Walker Kessler was in last year. And we'll see with no Walker Kessler. You heard Sarah talking about, having a little bit more money. Maybe their attitude on whether or not to extend Keontae George this offseason, maybe that changes a little bit, but he's going to be motivated to go out and show his stuff. I don't know if the Jazz view him as a max player, but I bet you after last year, he views himself as pretty close to that. So, it'll be interesting to see if he goes out and battles for it and proves that he's going to be a dude. I did not ask Sarah, I should have, about her thoughts on adding Josh Okogie. That is kind of the news today. The Jazz add I don't know, would you call him 3-and-D wing, Christian? I mean, he averaged, let's see, where was this? He averaged like 38.5% from three last year.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny hearing Tim talk about him. The first thing Tim brings up, defense. Second thing Tim brought up, 3-point percentage, 3-and-D. He's a little short, but he can guard multiple positions, right? So we'll see how he fits into that room with some of the other wings like Ace Bailey and Cody Williams and some of these other players that are going to be rotating at that kind of 2-3 spot.
You know what? He's a player that Will Hardy can play to motivate other players.
Exactly.
Like if he can go into the locker room and howl about defense, and then this is a dude where he can back up his point. If you guys don't want to go guard, I'll just play Okogie because he's gonna guard. And then if you get the other guys to the point where they can play a little defense and they're gonna play both sides of the ball, then you don't have to play Okogie as much, and you're only paying him $6 million. In a 2-year, $12 million deal, I'd have to look. I got to imagine the second year is not guaranteed. So if it works out, great. If it doesn't, because other players step up, even better.
Yeah, motivator. You were just talking about how Keontae needed that, and Keontae's not the only young player on this roster that needs that. So, yeah, Will wants to make an example. Get out there, Josh,
Because at this point, and I'm going to pick on Bryce a little bit, apologies, but he's the one who this is most obvious for, maybe not the only one. But the difference between him being out of the league and him being a rotational player is him becoming serviceable on the defensive side. It's true. His skill set offensively, his size, all of that, and keeps his body right and all of that, he could easily be a productive rotational player in the NBA for a long time. But if he doesn't pour it on defensively and figure out how to guard, teams aren't going to do it because he's not good enough that you're just going to donate the whole offense to him and allow him just to coast on defense. He's going to have to become a two-way player. And if you can figure out a way to motivate him with minutes with a guy like Okogie, then, all of a sudden maybe you get him to take the next step in his game. But it is true, like Sarah mentioned it's true about Ace Bailey. It's true about, even Darryn Peterson, even though he played well on both sides of the ball in Summer League game number 1. These guys are going to have to be two-way dudes in the NBA to get minutes, and I think that certainly is a positive thing. All right. Big thanks to Sarah Todd for jumping on with us in the last segment. Again, check out all her work at the Deseret News, of course. All right, we'll have more coming up next. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. No Ben today. We are going to be live tomorrow from Big 12 Media Days. Excited to head down there. It's wild when Media Days roll around. The football season is not far off. And we're going to be blowing it out for you. Coverage. PK is going to be down there. Scotty G, Coach Tim Lacombe, myself, we're going to give you 2 action-packed days of football preview. We're going to talk to players and coaches. Thrilled to be going down there and making it happen. I didn't have a chance, Christian, to go last year, so I'm excited to go again this year. And I've been to Dallas a couple of times, but this will be my first time spending a couple of days there, so pretty excited about that. I'll tell you something that I'm not excited about, Christian, and I would be open to your opinion on this. But listen, NBA games are too long. I agree. They are too long. And they need to find a way to shorten them. And I fear that baseball's success, and I do think it's a success with the pitch clock to shorten games a little bit, has given other sports, other leagues, a little bit of license to mess with it. Again, talking about cats in the wall, solutions that don't really solve anything. So the NBA, Christian, is now, and I'm sure you noticed watching Summer League, they're now testing out these new rules, which have been in the G League for a while, that with free throws, you will only shoot 1 free throw, and it will equal the amount of the shot that you were taking, right? So if you're taking a 2-point shot and go to the line, your 1 free throw will be worth 2 points. If you're taking a 3-point shot and you go to the line, your 1 free throw will be worth 3 points. An and one still exists. Now, I feel like this is fundamentally messing with the integrity of the game. But then again, I'm old and stuck in my ways. But they're saying that the average time saved, Christian, is 5 to 6 minutes.
Over the course of one game?
Yes. So you're shaving 5 to 6 minutes off a game by having just 1 free throw instead of 2 or 3.
5 to 6 minutes out of what does a typical 2.5 hours?
We're right around now.
Yeah.
We're right around 2.5 hours, which is longer than it used to be even like 10 years ago. It was probably around 2. Your average was, 2:10, somewhere around there. And I would say it doesn't average 2.5. But it's probably more in the range of 2:20, 2:25 now.
Okay. So you don't think 6 minutes is worth it?
I don't think so. And this is me complaining about how long games are. But this isn't the solution.
It feels a little XFL-ish, right? And you look at like the way the NFL adapted the new kickoff rule and some of the kind of wonky things that the XFL or whatever they call it, UFL now, tries out and then the NFL later implements. I'm with you. I think it is a little weird. It feels like a shortcut that doesn't need to be taken. And also, how does it affect, when you've got players who, like Walker Kessler, if he's going to the free throw line and he's shooting 1 free throw now for 2 points, but he's only a 50, 60% free throw shooter, that guy's never going to make a free throw.
The argument is that it would even out. That for as many front end as Walker made, he would miss, right? So it would come out in the wash.
I guess.
I happen to think that the second free throw packs on more pressure or is a different situation, especially in a close game, right? You make the front and you have 1 more to tie it or whatever. That makes it to a way different situation, I think. But then again, people could argue that the pressure now is increased on the first one. So again, it would come out in the wash. But I think there's a reason why points in the NBA are the way they are. 2 points, 3 points, and then a free throw is 1 because it all goes by difficulty, right? The free throw, the easy one, should be worth 1, and 2 free throws equal 1 2-pointer.
Yeah.
Or make 3 in a row is equal to 1 3-pointer because that's a more difficult shot. I just feel like you're messing with the building blocks. Whereas the timer in baseball, the pitch timer, you're just telling the lazy pitcher to get on with his stuff, right? He doesn't need to sit there and scratch himself and throw to first 25 times. That doesn't fundamentally mess with the like building blocks of the game. Now, I think what Major League Baseball is doing in extra innings is egregious. So does the ends justify the means? If you want to save 10 minutes off of games, I'm not kidding. Just get rid of replay. I know I bang this drum and I'm the only one over and over and over again. Just get rid of it. Deal with the ref's bad call and move on as opposed to sending those idiots over to the table only to screw up the call anyway. Or automatically review this or automatically review that. Or you know what? Get rid of some timeouts. Or shave 5 minutes off of halftime. I mean, really, it's just TV stations running ads, right? And, of course, radio stations running ads and some really fantastic halftime content, obviously. And my feelings would be hurt personally if they shaved 5 minutes off of halftime. But would we really miss it? Or I would love, and this seems crazy, Christian, I would love for them just to start the game at 7.
That's what they need to work on first. Let's fix the start times before we monkey with any other rules.
Let's start it right at 7 or like 7:01 or 7:02.
We were talking about this with the World Cup. And how many games have they done over the past 2 weeks now? And every single one of them has started relatively on time. I know Mexico got pushed back an hour yesterday, but guess what? They announced that ahead of time, right?
Yep.
If it's a 7 p.m. start, it's going to start right at 7 p.m. or maybe 1 or 2 minutes after. NBA, 6:30 p.m. start. You can go grab dinner at 6:30, be home by 7, and make it in for tip.
Maybe be tipping off. Yeah, I think there are other ways they can shorten the overall time of an NBA game without messing with the integrity of it all. But maybe I'm just a curmudgeon.
Well, the other thing with this, too, if you think flopping on the three-point attempts is out of hand now,
Just wait.
Just wait until they figure out all you got to do to get 3 points for your team is hit 1 free throw. A lot of these floppers, they're shooting at least 80-85% from the line. So they're going to go out there. What do you have a higher chance of hitting? Your 35% three-point shot or your 85% 1 free throw to make 3 points,
I totally agree. I think it totally messes around with the integrity to only shave 5 or 6 minutes off. Seems ridiculous. Although I got to tell you, I've complained many a night of sitting there and watching a team shoot 30 free throws. I mean, it is a brutal way to watch basketball. So maybe I'm a huge hypocrite. But I do love basketball, the game. Even though the free throw is not my favorite part of it, it is still part of the game. Like we've got the World Cup up in the background. I hate all the pass back and then pass over and then pass back. But that's part of it, right? They're setting up the attack. They're setting up the moment. So I wouldn't want to see that part, even though it's not my favorite, legislated out of soccer somehow because it's not the most thrilling. It's still a basic part of the game to be played in the strategy. So I hate it. I hope they don't. I hope they don't mess with it.
Also,
they should just go back.
The thing that takes the most time for free throws is like setting everything up and getting everybody in position. Which, if you're going to the line anyways, an extra free throw or 2 isn't what takes the most time.
Totally. Hey, start enforcing. That's a great point, Christian. Start enforcing delay of game. Say, get your backside on the line or you're going to get a delay of game. And then start enforcing the 10-second rule. Giannis takes a year and a half at the line. Although that might be a sensitive subject for OG Jazz fans because people used to complain about Karl Malone doing that all the time. And so what started in the later part of his career, Christian? The whole crowd would count to 10. It happened in the playoffs every year. The whole crowd would start counting to 10 as Karl was busy whispering to himself. I still don't think he's ever admitted to what he whispered to himself every time he shot a free throw and fell all the way backwards onto his keister. He somehow turned into at least a fairly decent free throw shooter, and he really had no business doing it. Do you remember? Did you ever remember watching Carl shoot free throws?
I did not know. I was 3 when he was on the Lakers, so.
He shot him fading totally backwards. Like, I don't know if you had instruction to shoot free throws, you should be, center balanced and if anything, be falling forward. And he would always be falling backwards.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Well, and if you're Karl Malone and averaging 27 points a game and your team is really awesome, then you just leave him alone. Tim tells a funny story about Rick Majerus, who said that's the reason, pointed at Karl Malone, that's the reason he could never coach in the NBA, because he'd try to fix that. And his opinion would matter more than Rick's would. You know what I mean?
Yeah, NBA, the stars matter. Their opinion matters more than the coach.
Absolutely 100% correct. We'll see how Will Hardy navigates those waters. I like Will Hardy's personality with young players. I bet he doesn't have too much difficulty identifying, and he's a younger coach, but he seems to have more of that chill vibe that I think coaching is more moving into.
He and Walker actually had a really fun relationship, and that's one of the things I'm going to miss about having Walker Kessler on the Jazz was the way he and Will Hardy interacted. It seemed like they were always on the same page. And then, earlier we talked about the Keontae George stuff, and Will has been really hard on Keontae, but it clearly has been for a good reason, and it's worked out. So I'm totally with you. I think for some of these coaches, it might be hard to connect with, the younger players, but I don't think Will Hardy has a hard time with that.
Long story short, Adam Silver needs to go back into his crypt and not do this ridiculous free throw thing. Don't do it. It's not worth it. All right, we'll have more Jake and Ben coming up right around the corner. Stay tuned for that. Top of the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to be joined by John Kurtz, host a Big 12 podcast. We'll have him back on the show. Top of the 4 o'clock hour. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
All systems go. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. No Ben today. Coming up at the top of the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to let you hear from John Kurtz. He hosts a Big 12 podcast. We'll get a little Big 12 Media Day preview from John, so stay tuned for that. Coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, we're going to let you hear a bunch of Jazz sound, all the post-game sound from Summer League game number 1. You'll hear from Cody Williams, Steve Wojciechowski, Darryn Peterson, and then we also will chat with PK, Patrick Kinahan, coming up at 5:30, as PK also is headed for Dallas for Big 12 Media Days. Christian, I really regret that I was not able to follow the details because I was out of town, to follow the details of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding. Were you dialed in? Your wife is much more of a fan than you, but you are a fan. Were you focused on the talk snap all weekend, seeing what happened?
I saw some of the major highlights. I wasn't glued to it because I think, and my wife is on the same page. It's crossed the line to where it's starting to be a little pretentious, right? Go figure, right? Shocker. But yeah, Adam Sandler officiated it.
I bet Ben was thrilled. Ben's hero, Adam Sandler, the biggest movie star on the planet, according to Ben Anderson.
A lot of random stuff.
Really appropriate. I saw that one of Travis Kelce's friends, Will Compton, what's his name? Compton. Was complaining in the public that he didn't get an invite. And frankly, I don't blame him if he has a relationship off the field with Travis Kelce, because did you see some of the other bozos? There's no way that George...
Gene Steratore was there?
Oh, yeah. George Stephanopoulos, the news guy. What is Snuffleupagus is going, but Will Compton can't get an invite? I'd be bent too.
Have you ever not been invited to a friend's wedding?
Yeah, it happens. I told you, or maybe I didn't tell you, but after going through it, where you have to narrow down a guest list, I will never have hurt feelings again.
Unless Snuffleupagus got invited.
Yeah, unless I didn't get invited, but some clown like Snuffleupagus is going. What does he have to do with anything?
Yeah, it was a pretty random guest list. I saw Greg Olson was wearing a funny hat.
Did Stevie Nicks end up playing? Do we know?
And that's the other thing is I don't know what's real and what's not. Like, I don't know. Some of it is so outlandish that it sounds fake.
Okay.
But maybe it's all real. And that's just how crazy it was.
Now, I want to know, are you judging Travis Kelce for crying? Because apparently that's the reports, is he was very emotional.
Oh,
during his vows.
I cried at my wedding. Did you cry at yours?
Oh, blubbered like an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife was just a robot too. You know,
mine too. Yeah. I don't think she shed a single tear.
No, she gets through her vows, bing, bang, boom. And then hands it over to me and it's like, just crying the whole way through. Absolutely. It was embarrassing.
But Travis is a football player, so he can't cry?
I'm in front of like 1,000 people up there blubbering. I don't know. I don't judge him. But if it were me, I would be super self-conscious if I were in his shoes. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, remove your tear ducts or something.
I don't know. No, I'm not judging. It's emotional. Good for him. He's in love. Good luck to those kids.
That's how you know it's real, I guess. There's still like a lot of people who think this is all just fake and set up.
Well,
you know, by like the overlords at the NFL.
Well, the divorce album is going to be epic.
Right, and that too down the road.
I mean, let's face it, the divorce album is going to be wild.
I was following TMZ, like put pictures out of her ex-boyfriend Matty Healy was like taking his new girlfriend out to lunch like the day of the wedding.
Oh yeah.
TMZ was all over it. Yeah.
Was he the English guy?
I honestly don't know. I get them all mixed up. She's dated several Englishmen.
Has she?
Yeah.
She's got a taste.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, it's something to take over downtown New York City, downtown Manhattan for your wedding over the 4th of July, but
it's only like the 3rd private event ever at MSG or something crazy.
And didn't they donate $28 million or something like that to charity in honor of their wedding?
Like that?
I sure hope so.
They've got enough between them. Although you'd think Travis Kelce's career earnings is, I don't know, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 million. He's got a fraction. I wonder what the prenup looked like.
Yeah, $111.1 million for Travis Kelce. And she's a billionaire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy prenup.
Yeah, crazy prenup. Who knew the professional football player would be the gold digger in this circumstance? Sure would like to have been the lawyer that hammered that out. I bet they made a fortune.
Yeah, wild times, really. I mean, again, if you would have said 3 years ago, before this whole relationship started, that this is where it was going, it's like, really, Travis Kelce?
Hey, the NFL comes out on top. That's just what happens. Whether they're orchestrating it or not, the NFL just always seems to win. I wonder if he looked fat, because wasn't that the complaint about Travis Kelce last year, was that he's turned into a fat guy?
Yeah, fat and slow.
Because he's distracted by all the stardom and all that, and now he's fat and slow.
Well, you could tailor the suit, you know.
That's just so he looked all right.
It's hard to tailor your football uniform.
It is a little bit.
You can really slim yourself with a nice tailor.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised he came back. Because aren't we expecting Kansas City to suck next year?
I sure hope so.
Well, they'll still figure out a way to beat the Donks. I mean, they're in that in-between phase. Like it was the magic of the Patriots, right? That they were able to reboot the roster around Tom Brady like 3 or 4 different times and ultimately be successful. Feel like Kansas City is in the down part where they're trying to reboot around Patrick Mahomes. And I don't know how well it's going to actually go next year.
Yeah, they've had, after some really good draft hits that led to that incredible run, they've had some really bad misses the last few years. And so we'll see how far that sets them back.
You think your Donks are going to win the division then?
Yes.
I'm assuming?
Yes.
You think they'll be better than the Chargers?
Yes. They might lose one division game.
Wow, bold.
Maybe one. They might split with the Chargers, but I think they sweep Vegas and Kansas City.
You think throw picks is going to be that good, huh?
MVP.
Where's Ben to bring you back down to earth on throw picks?
MVP.
Ben was a little
It's
off
the
on that one.
the revenge tour after breaking his ankle.
You think?
Yeah. Okay. Buckle up, dude.
Look at, hey, brace yourself. All fall long, Christian's going to have wall-to-wall Broncos coverage. He always does. I mean, pretty much guests daily. I want to make sure we find out what's going on.
I'll dial up Woody Page again.
Oh, no, do not. No, don't dial up Woody Page again. Don't do that. Is he even actively working?
No, not PTI. Around the Horn. I get mixed up.
Because of me.
Because of you. Yeah, Around the Horn got canceled. So I think he is
But he doesn't
free agent.
he doesn't write for the Denver Post anymore or anything.
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, we don't need to have him on. That's fine. We'll have more coming up next. In fact, Big 12 Media Day is going down tomorrow and Wednesday in Dallas. We are going to be there as a station. Super excited about it. PK, Scotty G, the coach, myself will be in Dallas bringing you coverage all day tomorrow and all day on Wednesday. To help us preview it, John Kurtz is going to join the show. He hosts a Big 12 podcast. We'll get to that coming up next. It is the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.